Hello, this is Cat and Alexander, and welcome back to my playthrough of Dawntrail. Why is this so loud? BGM 50 is usually fine. Maybe I should do BGM 25. Oh, BGB? Oh, that's why that didn't work. Ah, that's better on my ears. Ow. I swear, I'm suffering from the inverse problem my dad does. The older and older he gets, the more and more deaf it becomes, where even his hearing aids doesn't work half the time. The older and older I get, the more and more I can hear. Eventually, I'm gonna hit 60, and I'm gonna have to play games at BGM 10 so I don't deafen myself. It's getting that bad. Okay, the narwhal beckons. Oh, hello. Judging by your attire, you must be the traveler from across the seas. And I suppose Brookavu has enlisted you to our aid. That you are guided here safely must be the work of the brave narwhal, who remains watchful even in this dire time. We are ever grateful for its vigilance. My name is Lozaniqui, and I hail from the northern reaches of Zaktaral, where even our breath freezes when caught in the chilling winds. Our people revere a Taral Vidral of the narwhal, whose essence rests in the cradle of the sleepless. Our most sacred treasure. Though fathomless depths, it swam without rest, protecting its home from any who would do it harm. Legends tell that the narwhal could place the burden of its fatigue upon another, and thus was able to maintain its vigil night and day. So too can any who possess the cradle lull a person, willing or no, into a deep slumber, all while avoiding the need for sleep themselves. And people think that Sweet Baby Inc. made this plot woke. The main antagonist of this entire questline is a woke idiot. Literally woke. He is the most literally woke person in the entire game. His superpower is just he's woke. All the time. He's basically Peanut from a Jeff Dunham skit. He doesn't sleep ever. He's just on crack, meth, and energy drinks. Or the magical equivalent is just going, I'm insane! Needless to say, such power could cause untold harm in the wrong hands. Thus was the greatest warrior of our village, whatever, tasked with crossing the ocean and returning that which is most sacred to us. I'd have joined him, but I feared I would only be a burden, so I remained here, that I might find someone to send to his aid. Tintoa has ever rushed bravely and blindly into the thick of things, leaving me behind to watch and worry. But if there's anything I can do to help him, even a little, then I must. Brookavu has done well to send you to me. I can tell you are just the woman to temper his more reckless tendencies and keep him safe during his quest. As luck would have it, a letter from Tintoa arrived shortly before you did. It seems he discovered that the thief made their way to a place called Ishgard. While I don't doubt his prowess, even Tintoa would be rendered helpless before the narwhal's lullaby. Please, could you follow him to Ishgard and find him before he does anything rash? Ishgard is like a second home to me. Used to be my hearth point before I chose the vacation spot that we're currently in. Thank you, Cat Knight. I knew the narwhal would guide a brave protector to our side. Tentoa sails to an unfamiliar place. Despite his hasty nature, he doubtless spent time gathering information about his new surroundings before planning his next step. If Ishgard has a place like this one where people gather to drink and talk, he might go there first. Ask for a swordsman with blue hair and attire like mine. I'm sure it won't be long until you find him. Also, I'd like to point out that the Narwhal tribe is basically just northern Canada. Though Canada has the power to make you woke. Sounds about right. Anyway, time to head to Ishgard. Also, I find it funny how the madman that stole the relic basically escaped to France. So, the guy who went to Canada to steal the super weapon then fled to France. Oui, oui. I wonder if the lullaby only works in cold climates. So we lure him to saw 'em all and kill him. Calling the twist now. If it isn't cat night, what'll it be? A lad from the western continent? Well, I can't be going around gossiping about the comings and goings of my customers, now can I? That's a quick way into an empty tavern. But I suppose since you're you, I can make an exception just this once. A lad much like the one you described walked through my door not long ago. Was asking anyone whose ear he could bend about some stolen narwhal or some such he was after. Usually you buy someone a drink before interrogating them, but not him. Nobody knew what he was going on about, but he was determined. Asked where else an Ishgard people might gather to flap their lips. So I told him to head to the Jeweled Crozier. You leave now, I reckon he'll still be there. You'll know him when you see him, trust me. Got it. Time to look for the blue-haired Canadian. Wait a minute. I'm basically just looking for Nux Taku. When I say it out loud, isn't that just Nux? I'm looking for Nux. Okay. Time to help discount Nux. Oh, man. Been watching a lot of Nux's videos on the Mr. Beast shit, trying to catch up on all the shit I missed over the last 2-3 months being away. Holy crap. It's funny as hell. And then there's all that Diddy shit. The Diddy puns will never die. Diddy is the new Epstein for a completely different reason. Everyone will just be asking the question until the end of time. Did he do it? Oh man, that name is so good. That name. Me magic. Hector. Bunch of useless. By the narwhal's horn, you'd think manners keep people warm, but how desperately these people cling to them. And here I'm trying to rid their city of a thief. Yes, it seems you know me, but I don't think I've ever seen you before. I'd remember. I was sent to help you. Those iniquitous sent you. Even across oceans she could sense when I'm in trouble. Well, I won't deny a helping hand, especially one with her blessing. I'm having no luck getting information from these people. Seems there are unwritten rules regarding favors that no one's bothered to tell me. Oh, I'm the savior of Ishgard. I know the thief traveled here. That's where the trail runs cold. I thought it'd only be a matter of time until they used the cradle to commit some misdeed or another. It seems nothing is amiss within or without Ishgard's walls. I have only a description to go on, although it's availed me nothing so. A woman of a race known in this land as Elizin. She has striking red hair and eyes the color of rust. A scar dominates her forehead, and a mole rests upon her lips. She came to my village posing as a scholar with an interest in the cradle. Although she gave us a name, I now know it was a lie, just like everything else that spewed from her mouth. The bounty of meat, vegetables, and fruits she offered was worth its weight in gold to us. After the cold snap we suffered last year, we couldn't afford to turn her away. Looking back, I realize how brazen her deception was. Although she wore the robes of a scholar, she moved with the poise of a predator. I marked her as a fearsome warrior the moment I laid eyes upon her. Of course, she wouldn't have been able to travel so far north on her own if she was unseasoned. So I thought nothing of it at the time. It was my first misstep of many. That's all I know. It's not much, but if you see even the smallest scrap of a clue in there, it'd be a damn sight better than what I currently have. A skilled sword would be known among the knights of the congregation. Knights, was it? Suppose that's what you call these deadly-looking fellows clad in steel. Yes, you may be onto something there. But where would we find one willing to speak? At their barracks near the tavern. I know the way. I'll meet you there. But yeah, I just find the role quest funny. Everyone's like, oh no! Sweet baby Ink has turned the game woke because of Orange Cat! Meanwhile, the Passage of the Unbound storyline is literally just the culture war in FF14. Every one of these antagonists feels familiar. I felt like I've dealt with these people before. They have no limiting principles on principle. They love sneaking into civilization, subverting them from within, and tearing them apart in order to cause chaos because reasons. And the last two just seem very... the last two, I think. No, I haven't done the healer or the range, so and this is the tank. So yeah, it was the last two. As I said, it's been a while since I've done those, so I can't remember how many I've done. Yeah, the last two. The Viper one was just... You're looking for someone who, steals identities and infiltrates and basically pretends to be someone and have their political stances and opinions that cause chaos for the sake of it. I've dealt with that before. The Caster quest is basically your typical... The Caster quest was basically just Mr. Beast, okay? The dude was basically just Mr. Beast and had the same psychological problems as Mr. Beast, except he had magical powers. Which made it worse! I wonder who we're up against this time. Who's my next victim? Oh, I'm went the wrong way. My terrible sense of direction strikes again. Up, up. I was Pokeball in there for a second. For a second there, I thought Nintendo was coming after me next. First they came for Power World, and now they're coming for me! Okay. Why, Mistress Alexander, what brings you to the congregation? This Passage of the Unbound is not a name I have heard before. But if one of their number has brought an artifact of great power to Ishgard, we would be ill-advised to suffer their presence. We shall act on this information at once. If there is aught that would threaten the peace, then it is our duty to root it out. Consider the knights of the congregation at your disposal. Thank you for hearing us out, truly. Now, does anything about the description we shared you ring a bell? An Elizan woman with red hair and the eyes the color of rust. Wait, you said she bore a scar on her forehead, yes? And a mole. No, it could not be. You know who she is? Alright, well, such information is usually privy only to those within our order. Pray understand my hesitation. What? Won't you listen to anything we told you? She's too dangerous to be left alone. This isn't the time for secrecy. I know I'm a stranger in your city, but I can't stand by while innocent lives might be at risk. If you can't trust him, then trust me. I saved your entire city. Multiple times. And all of Aetheris. You are right, of course. The hero who ended the Dragonsong War is not worthy of our trust, and who is? Very well. Master Tentoa, pray accept my apologies. Although you may not be Ishgardian, your desire to keep his people safe is plain to see. We shall place our trust in you, as Mistress Alexander has. I'm glad we could see eye to eye. Now then, what do you know of this thief? The description called back some old memories. Memories of a knight named Leofine. Merely recalling her story makes me ill at ease, for the mark she left upon our honorable order was as black as pitch. None know of her whereabouts since she was expelled from the congregation. I had thought living with the shame of her deeds would be punishment enough, but she now consults with villains that threaten the very foundation of our order. Then it is clear we can suffer her freedom no longer. I shall inform my superiors of this development, and suggest that the congregation does all in its power to track down Leofine and place her in custody. If we learn aught of value, I promise to share it with you at once. Really? That's more than we could have asked. I suppose we ought to consider what to do in the meantime. Care to join me over there, Cat Knight? Oh, sure. So we have a name, Leophine, a former knight of Ishgard. That means she knows how to hide herself in this city well. Grasping about at straws won't get us anywhere. My own unfamiliarity does little to help our chances. We may have no choice but to wait until the knights discover a lead. Nevertheless, I intend to spend every waking moment learning more about this city and its workings. As for you, I only ask that you be ready to move at a moment's notice. Until then, be well. Sleepless in Ishgard. There you are, Cat Knight. I've been walking Ishgard's streets whenever I've been able. No, you haven't. I know, gameplay story segregation, but... No, you haven't. You were just standing there for like 5 seconds. Stop lying! I've taken to searching for any sleeping people. You see, the land I'm from isn't much warmer than this, and people know not to tempt fate by dozing off in the open air. Even those blind with drink manage to find their way home somehow. I figure the only force powerful enough to overcome that instinct for self-preservation would be the cradle. So we find a sleeper exposed to the elements, we may very well discover the Leophine nearby. I can't imagine she brought all this way just to remain idle. It's a tedious prospect, but we need to scour every back alley and shadowed walkway before anyone catches something much worse than a cold. Mistress Alexander, Master Tentawa, I bring good tidings. The Temple Knights wasted no time in distributing handbills across Ishgard, containing Leophine's description. These efforts have already borne fruit. We but recently received a report of someone matching her features being sighted. Really? Where? She was sighted near Camp Dragonhead by a patrolling sentry. Described a woman with red hair and a distinct scar on her forehead. The outpost can be reached by passing through the Gates of Judgment and heading east. Once there, speak with Sir Huguenot, French name, for the full report. Sir Eugen, got it. I knew she'd show herself. Let's hurry, Cat Knight. Camp Dragonhead. Go. Okay. Oh yeah, that's achievements. Did I get a title? Nope. Ah, I was informed you were on your way. This is concerning a report by one of our sentries, yes? He sighted a woman matching the description in the handbill sent by the congregation. She was heading south along the footpath, but that is all we know. Yes, this is Eugen. What? Hold fast! I shall send aid at once! What happened? A shipment of supplies was waylaid by monstrous beasts. A contingent of Temple Knights should have been protecting it, but something is amiss. They need our help. We would be in your debt. The ship was attacked on the road west of the observatorium. I shall muster more knights. Please, go find my men before any lives are lost. Understood. I'll take care of it, no worries. Okay. New Eden Ultimate is coming in November. Oh, that's going to be fun to watch. Not playthrough, watch. I'm not good enough for an Ultimate. One day I will be. Yeah, sure, totally. One day. One day. Not today, though. Or November. Or next year, probably. One of these days, though. One of these days. Totally, yeah, sure. Not copium at all. They should be close, right? I'll search the other side of the river. Cat Knight, you search further down the road and keep your weapon at the ready. Defeat the ravenous silver wolves. Worthless canines! You shall be smoked by the divine will of the feline! Or something, I don't know. Fucking dogs. The only good dog's a dead dog! There you go. Eat axe. If I was playing machinist, I'd be giving you shots. Got him. Oh, did the chocobos fall asleep? Save us. We were almost. Uh-oh. More of them. You won't be feasting today! Not a moment too soon. The wide eye watches eternal, and eternal is the sleep it bestows. We were too late. No, they're not. Ah, just look. Their sleep is all. Good. Good. Our trusty chocobos suddenly became unsure on their feet, and the wagon toppled onto the side of the road. There was nothing for it but to fix the damage on the spot. The temple knights went to secure the area. Before I knew it, each and every one of them had fallen asleep where they were standing. Then the beast attacked. It was just me before those snarling fangs. Time to wake up. Sleep here any longer and the cold will have you. What happened? We fell asleep, but we were patrolling. He must be mistaken. A temple knight would never shirk his duty so. Are you calling me a liar? I saw you fall over on your arse with my own eyes. If not for Sir Eugen's quick response and the bravery of these warriors, we would all be food for the vultures by now. The congregation will hear of this dereliction of duty, you can be sure. Now, hold on just a moment. They aren't the ones to blame. A sacred relic of my people was stolen, and now isn't the time. Sorry, I forget I said anything. Whatever dizziness overtook the chocobos seems to have passed, so I'll resume my journey once the carriage is repaired, assuming my guards are quite refreshed. I believe we can make it on our own. Please return to Camp Dragonhead and warm yourselves. It's no coincidence that the giant birds and the two guards took to leave of their senses around the same time. This is the work of the cradle. But even if Leofine was here, she is no longer. Let's return to the city and consider our next steps. Okay, back to Ishgard I go. We have received a report of the incident near Camp Dragonhead. 2 of our own sleeping on duty by the Fury. Had you reached him even a moment later, this day would have been much darker. Although it pains me to say it, those 2 shall be punished as befits the magnitude of their negligence. If I may, I don't believe the blame rests entirely on their shoulders. The cradle of the sleepless was used against them, I'm certain. Yes, you said it possessed the power to lull others into a deep sleep. I admit that would explain these exceptional circumstances. Regardless, they were still bested by their enemy, and their charge was almost killed as a result. Punishment is the only recourse. I see, a harsh stance maybe, but I can respect that you don't treat your duty like... Well, if you learn anything else of Leofine's plots, please let us know at once. Even though we didn't find her, I'm glad we were able to save those soldiers. Thank you for coming to us. Nay, 'tis the Temple Knights who owe you thanks. We shall continue our search, and rest assured you shall be the first to know of any developments. Cat Knight, there's more I would tell you about the cradle. Things I should have told you sooner. Join me over there, and I'll do my best to fix that mistake. Now you've seen with your own eyes what I've only been able to describe. The narwhal's lullaby can put even hardened warriors into a restful slumber. They may as well be defenseless as a newborn babe, but even with such power, my people have never used it to attack our enemies. Its sole purpose has always been to keep a single person awake, an eternal guardian who would never sleep, never rest. The Wide Eye, me. For 10 years I've been awake, training day and night to gain the strength I have now. The strength to shield my people. Of course, another must receive the weariness I cast aside. The Shut-Eye. You've met her, in fact. Knows iniquity. As I've been awake these 10 years, she spent the better part of her days in a deep slumber. Her brief periods of wakefulness are spent exercising and eating so her body doesn't waste away. And so we've barely spoken, despite how much I depend on it. When we were young, we spent our days exploring the mountain paths, but that time is long past. Telling you all this now, I realize how very little of my life has been dedicated to my own pursuits. Those Nikwi and I have both devoted ourselves entirely to the protection of our village. How did she steal it from such an accomplished warrior? How'd she take it? Well, about that. No, I've no excuse. It was my fault it was stolen, and I'll bear that burden. Protector must take responsibility for his charges. But we don't have the luxury to dwell on regrets. I see now that although my people will never use the cradle for ill, wicked hearts can twist anything toward evil. And that's something I can't tolerate. The very thought that this might happen again makes the bile turn in my gullet. We must bring Leofine's schemes to an end. An axe to grind 10. Woohoo! Level 100 warrior. Achieve Marauder level 100. Okay. Between sleep and death. Oh, just the person I wanted to see. I'd like to ask your advice on a certain matter, if you don't mind. It's been a while since my last letter to Nikwi. I wanted to wait until I discovered something worth sharing to writer. But we're still completely in the dark. I don't want her to worry. But I don't know what to tell her. Tell her you're in good spirits. That will suffice. You might be right. Silence might make her think something terrible has happened. Alright, I'll start right away. I may not have much time left. Oh, don't misunderstand. It's nothing so grave as that. It's just... the last time I used the cradle was just before it was stolen. Luckily, I'm still as alert as I've ever been, but it won't be long until I must dream like any other. That will give Leofine free rein while I'm helpless in bed. There is no quarry more dangerous than one who doesn't sleep. We have to see this through before that happens. Mistress Alexander, Master Tentoa, we have received reports that several groups of Temple Knights have fallen afoul of what can only be your stolen artifact. Several, let me guess, they were all guarding someone else. You would be correct. It is the duty of a knight to protect those who cannot protect themselves. If we fail at even that most basic function, then our honor means nothing. As if the incident near Camp Dragonhead was not shameful enough, the knights in these most recent attacks were left in quite compromising positions. Yet the weight of embarrassment is a trifle compared to the guilt we would bear if any incident came to harm. The Fury was merciful in that respect, but we would rather not see these incidents repeat. Still, while the Temple Knights must work to repair their reputation in the days ahead, it is a far cry from bringing Ishgard crumbling to its knees. Truth be told, the methods of this passage of the Unbound leave me mystified. But Leofine was cunning, if nothing else. Until we can discern her true motivations, we have little recourse but to wait until she makes a mistake. Perhaps she gets her jollies seeing people humiliated. Many among the knights have suggested the same. Leofine may be part of this esoteric order, but she has ever been one to put her own interests first and foremost. The cradle is a tool of peace, yet Leofine uses it for childish pranks. She makes a mockery of its sacred power. We have to get it out of her clutches. Okay. And to do that, we have to start asking the right questions. This new information makes me wonder. Why has she focused her attention on the Temple Knights? I have pondered the same. Posted at Camp Dragonhead are knights from many houses of repute, including House Forton. Being a former Temple Knight herself, Leophine doubtless knows their habits and training. Perhaps that makes it easier for her to exploit their weaknesses. And if we follow the Knights, we may pick up on her trail. It's not ideal, but it's the best we have to go on. Well, a large contingent of Knights has recently been dispatched to Corthus. You remember Gorgagne Mills, yes? It has lain abandoned ever since the heretics were driven from it. Yet there is ever the risk that unsavory elements might infest it once again. Thus have the Temple Knights planned joint patrols of its premises with other contingents. You speak with Sir Redwald at Falcon's Nest. I am certain he would be glad to have you along. Okay. Ah, yes, good old Redwald. Is that Mistress Alexander I see? Of course, you are ever welcome in Falcon's Nest. Yet I believe I do not know your companion here. Indeed, whispers of the Temple Knight's humiliations have reached us even here. Falling asleep while on duty, I dare not believe the stories, but it seems there was truth in them after all. Need to wash it down. They fell asleep, true, but it wasn't their fault. We suspect they fell victim to an enemy wielding a powerful artifact. Now, the rumors failed to mention anything like that. If it can lull even a trained warrior to sleep, we must treat it as a serious threat. Nevertheless, if one knight falls, another is always at the ready to take their place. So long as this artifact cannot put an entire regiment under its spell, I believe we are well positioned to combat it. Interesting. The idea of your allies falling in battle doesn't seem to disturb you at all. Where I hail from, a single warrior is responsible for the safety of his entire village. Make no mistake, we do not doubt our allies' mettle. We mourn every loss. Yet each man and woman here knows that they must quit the battle. Another sword just as fierce will take their place. To know that an ally is at your back would allow you to fight with abandon. Now you believe this Leophine might take interest in our activities at Gorgagne Mills, yes? A party has already left, accompanied by a group of Temple Knights. If your suspicions are correct, then they are at risk. I would ask that you follow in their tracks and ensure that they have not fallen victim to foul play. The mills can be found to the north, just across the Black Iron Bridge. The party should be arriving there soon, conditions permitting. We have to reach them before the Leophine does. Ah, my pet Normie. He watches CNN. Thinks Project 2025 is real. And not a psyop. Imagine being him. Okay, time to come in for a landing. And they got. Of course they did. We're too late, they're fast asleep. But Redwall gave the impression there were more. These knights must have been the lookouts. We should awaken them, but keep your eyes peeled for Leophine. I'll rouse these ones. Cat Knight, you search that building yonder. Who the hells are you? How'd you get past the guards? Crap. Unbound Brawlers. Oh, and Unbound Impaler. Holy crap! She has minions! Nice operation! I want an army of minions to do my bidding. As I plot world domination! Blah! Or something like that. It's you. Thank the fairy you arrived when you did. Those thugs struck when our backs were turned. I assumed the temple knights were protecting the entrance, so I wasn't as cautious as I should have been. Were they killed? No, they were sleeping. I've heard the stories, of course, but I didn't think they were true. Well, whomever is behind this, I'm sure they didn't count on you showing up. For now, we shall tend to our wounds, then finish our inspection here. Mr. Alexander, I ask that you join the knights outside and wait until we're finished. Oh, is she here? There we go. Leophine. Ah, as I thought. Just when I was becoming bored, I sighted a familiar face among these slumbering knights. I simply had to come and make sure it was you. You finally found the courage to show yourself. Hand over the cradle now and I won't kill you. What, did they call you again? The Wide Eye? You must have had quite the journey to come this far. Be careful, Cat Knight. This is our quarry. The thief who stole the cradle of the sleepless. This is Leophine. That is your ally? Where the nimble hands, they may seek the artifact. your artifact for themselves. It matters not, I suppose. Before you both throw your lives away, I suggest you think for a moment. Is the cause you fight for worth the sacrifice? So few of us know true freedom. If there is aught you would grasp with your own hands, do so before they wither and your eyes shut for the last time. The codes and rules that would bind men are mere illusions. Open your eyes, truly open them, and you shall see a path all your own. Only a fool would waste their life in the struggle of another. Quit spouting nonsense. Nonsense? Perhaps I am here because of another, after all. Apayahi, who came to me at the height of my debauchery and welcomed me into her devious brotherhood. She guided me to great power, and yes, now I lead others upon the unbound path. Yet truth be told, I have little interest in seeing where it ends. To tear down the world's nations, Ishgard among them, and usher the world into, well, what does it matter? Yet I do derive great pleasure in shaming the temple knights, and seeing the snickers and jeers deflate their pompous stride as they walk down the streets. If this artifact can hasten their fall from grace, I believe I shall keep it. Uh-oh. I know the path I walk. The one that leads to your downfall. And I won't abandon it. I'll take the cradle back. And then I'll... Oh dear, you seem to have lost your train of thought. I know you cannot hear me. But if you want your artifact back, I might suggest stealing it from me while I'm asleep. But considering the burn they have just passed to you, that opportunity may not come for some time yet. Why, I feel absolutely transcendent to think the shackles of fatigue weighed so heavily. Alas, it appears the artifact needs its own repose of sorts. No matter. I have learned more than enough to take my next step. Oh, if she's wide awake, she can't put others to sleep. That's the cooldown. See to it that this lot is disposed of. 'Tis the least you can do for the freedom I have given you. Well. Time to kill him. I'm under attack? Oh no. That's crazy. Crazy, dude. Crazy. Anyway. Time to take out these, terrorists. Okay. I wonder why she was kicked out of the Temple Knights. Oh, was she sleeping around? Is this just Kamala Harris? Is this just the Vice President of the United States as a FF14 character? Oh, I get it. She slept her way up the ladder, got caught, and all the knights were like, fucking whore, kicked her out, and now she wants vengeance. Calling it. That's the twist. And this dude, he hadn't had a good roll in the hay in, well, 10 years. And he got thirsty, and that's how she was able to pull it off. Feminine wiles. Calling it now, that's the twist. Try as you might to rouse him, he seems completely detached from the waking world. That's why he's angry. He feels guilty because he has feelings for the chick that he constantly put to sleep. Looks like you saved us twice today. Thank you. But what of him? Fast asleep, just as we were. Could this be what Sir Vermobert warned us of in his report? Yep. I see, then those stories are more than just wicked rumors. I suppose there is some small comfort in the fact our enemy tipped their hand without causing loss of life. While the drowsiness made my eyes heavy, my ears could not mistake Leofine's arrogant voice. She would not scruple to attack former comrades in arms, and she has fallen farther than I had dared imagine. Yet we bear the blame for allowing her to get the upper hand, and so doing put innocent lives in danger. Another black mark on our order. It was only thanks to you and your companions' efforts that the snow was not stained red this day. At the very least, allow us to carry him to the congregation. Our work here is done, so we shall accompany them as far as Falcon's Nest. Cat Knight, pray return to Ishgard and look after your friend. Okay, back to Ishgard I go. Well, glad I am to see you well, Mistress Alexander. I understand you come fresh from an encounter with none other than Leofine. Master Tentoa now rests on the second floor. We shall stand vigil by his side every moment until he opens his eyes again. We should not have long to wait, but if you wish to check on him, please do so at your leisure. There is another matter to discuss. Just before your departure to Gorgagne Mills, it seems there was another incident. Damn it, I keep drooling. It's annoying. A group of criminals were released from their cells, their guards found in a deep sleep. Doubtless Leofine was behind this. And doubtless the ruffians who clashed with were these self-same criminals, and Leofine is gathering those who bear a grudge against the Temple Knights to her side, using this animosity to her advantage. We now know for certain that Leofine is the mastermind of these attacks, and that her aim is to chip away at the very foundation of the Temple Knights, our honor. When I shared these revelations with my superiors, it was decided that none would speak publicly of the artifact and its powers. The passage of the Unbound seeks to overthrow the nations of the world. One obvious method to achieve this goal would be to stoke the flames of unrest among the common folk, thus sinking Ishgard into a mire of chaos and distrust, not unlike the blasphemies of the final days. So long as these failures are placed squarely on the shoulders of the Temple Knights, we can avoid fomenting a more abiding mistrust in the nation's very core. For Ishgard's peace, I would gladly suffer any disgrace. The question remains as to whether we can apprehend Leofine before she tears our reputation to tatters. While Master Tentoa slumbers, it falls to us to search for clues that might point towards her whereabouts. Okay. A beacon in the darkness. Leophine remains as elusive as ever. If she is in league with Ishgard's more unsavory elements, she could be hidden anywhere. We have only her cryptic statements to guide us. It seems that whatever her plan is, her actions thus far have been but a prelude to its climax. We can hope that Tintoa awakens before she emerges again. God damn it, you drink something. Cat Knight, there you are. Oh, here she is. I'm so glad I found you. I was starting to think I was in the wrong city, but the narwhal guided me true. Oh, you must be the maiden Tintoa mentioned. You hail from the same village, yes? I am Firmalbert, of the Temple Knights. 'Tis an honor to meet you. Ah, Tintoa wrote about you in his letters. I'm Loza Nickwin, and the honor is all mine. Is Tintoa with you? I haven't received a letter from him for some time, so I came here to check on him myself. You insufferable fool. What have I always told you about rushing ahead without thinking? Now you even have the gall to be sleeping when I arrive. You promised you'd write to me. What was I supposed to do when the letters stopped coming? I was so worried. At least I can take some small comfort that he appears otherwise unharmed. I take it you're to thank for that, Cat Knight. Yeah. Is there any way to counteract the Cradle's influence? Can one stay awake forever by sheer force of will? The answer is the same. Although we can deny ourselves food or drink, sleep is another matter. It always finds us in time. To rouse oneself from a slumber this deep is an impossible task, even for someone like Tintoa. Do you know why Tintoa sleeps so soundly? Reports of other incidents indicated that those affected awoke in a matter of moments, yet Tintoa shows no signs of stirring. Oh! It has diminishing returns! On the same person! Well, I'm sorry, I can't say for certain. But I do know the stories of those who came before me. More than one shut-eye has fallen into a sleep much like this. One so absolute that they become deaf to the outside world. With no means to sustain their bodies, they would waste away if left alone. So our people found a mixture of herbs and other materials that help usher the shut-eye back to the waking world. What could possibly be strong enough to bring someone back from this? We call it spring dew, and the secrets of its making are passed down through generations. Each drop acts as a ray of sunshine in the darkness of sleep, a beacon for the dreamer to follow. I carry some of the ingredients in my person, but others must be gathered fresh. It won't be an easy task, but I'm certain it will save Tintoa. I don't know their Eorzean name, but one of the flowers blooms a striking yellow. It grows only where mountain peaks soar above the clouds. Being so close to the heavens, it drinks in the sunlight, and its petals cleanse the body and promote wakefulness. In the churning mist blooms a yellow flower called the dandelion. In no other place in Eorzea can one be closer to touching the sun. Good. Next, we'll need the saliva of a beast we call morbles. And the thicker it is, the better. The pungent odor could wake the dead. Ah, I know them well. Morbles are not an uncommon sight in the Dravanian hinterlands. A mature specimen should possess saliva with the desired effect. The prospect of gathering it, however, is an unenviable task. Once we have those two ingredients, mixing with the rest should be a simple matter. Do you think you could procure them, Cat Knight? Yeah, I got this. Oh, your confidence is reassuring. Since the morbal saliva must be the fresh herb too, I ask that you first climb into the heavens and pick dandelions for Tantawa. Okay. Time to head to Zenith. Okay. Time to pick some dandelions. Okay, dandelion 1. Oh, and dandelion 2's over here. What? I have to kill a Morble now. Time to head to Idleshire. And, well... Time to kill a Morble. Great putrid Morble. It is great, it is putrid. It's quavering. Quavering again. Awful breath. Oh wow, that's crazy, I don't care. Gotta make this exciting. Okay. Where the hell am I going? Oh, is it up here? Yeah, it's up here. I'm ready to start mixing the ingredients at once. That is, of course, assuming you brought them with you. Saliva, dandelions. There we go. These are difficult to acquire at the best of times, so I thank you gathering them so quickly. I shall get started immediately. We've done all we can. Now we wait for Tintawa to open his eyes. Huh? Where am I? I hope you enjoyed sleeping the days away, Tintawa. And I'm glad you're finally awake. Lozaniqui, what are you doing here? I see, so Leopold wielded the cradle against me, and while I was tucked soundly in bed, Lozaniqui came all this way. Curse my weakness, just when we had her, just when I was needed the most. I failed. For 10 years I endured countless trials. When the time came, I couldn't even swing my damn weapon! It's not your fault, Tintawa. If anyone's to blame for what happened, it's me. No, I won't hear it. As you may know, Leopold won our trust by posing as a scholar traveling the width and breadth of Tyrol. She expressed great interest in the cradle and our customs. I was so excited to meet an outsider that I answered her every question. I told her that the Wide-Eye keeps the cradle with them at all times, and then she hatched her plan. She took me hostage to draw out Tintawa. While Lozaniqui was sleeping, Leopold snuck into her chamber and held a blade to her throat. I had no choice but to give her what she wanted, the cradle of the sleepless. No. Okay. I put Lozaniqui's life before the future of our people. It was at that moment I became unfit to be their guardian. She is one of your people. Lozaniqui was... I'm glad they give me this option. Lozaniqui is one of your people. Protecting her was your duty. Thank you, Cat Knight. You know just what to say. That was the only way to see a future where none of my people come to harm, especially Lozaniqui. Even without the cradle, you're still our guardian. My guardian. We'll find a way through this together. Seeing you in such high spirits lifts my own. Oh, and before I forget, you trounced Leothine's thugs while I was dreaming in the snow, didn't you? I owe you a debt I won't soon forget. And I wager that debt will grow larger before we pry the treasure from Leothine's clutches. But whatever it takes, I won't stop until she's answered for her crimes. You know, while I was sleeping, I dreamed. I saw Lozaniqui and I as children. Nothing particularly interesting happened. We just whiled the days away without a care in the world. I'd forgotten what it was like to dream. It was pleasant. I remember wanting to stay there. Never opened my eyes again, but of course, the moment I gave form to that thought, I opened them, and Lozanikwe was there. Even if we get the cradle back, will things return to the way they were? Will you go back to spending your life in dreams? I suppose so. It's my duty as a Shut-Eye, after all. Your duty, and it was your duty, too, that compelled you to come all the way here to Ishgard. But no more. What are you saying? I tried so hard to convince myself that you were glad spending so much time asleep. But being on the other side made me realize I was lying to myself all along. I don't want to return to a life where you and I are bound together but always so far apart. I want to go back to those happy days when we were by each other's sides. Aw, how romantic. I guess what I'm saying is, there's a different path for us. I want to find it, and I want to walk it with you. Oh, sweet. Romance! I love some romance. But not yet. First, we reclaim the cradle. When we have, we'll take our first steps towards that new future, I promise. Exactly! It's not the time to be breeding, it's the time to be murdering! Directive 001 can wait. There's Directive 002 to fulfill first. Senseless murder! Ah! Being an animal feels good. But all humans are animals. Anyway, I must confess, I haven't felt the same since I woke up. I know I was in that bed for a while, but instead of feeling refreshed, my body feels weaker somehow. It's almost as my very strength was sapped when the treasure was turned on me. I can't even grip my weapon properly. Perhaps the cradle has been sapping the ether of its target all along. Then does that mean the cradle has powers we don't know about? Not exactly. It may just mean the cradle works differently than we thought. Its wielder might not pass on their fatigue, rather they absorb another's vigor. The end effect would be the same. The cradle's wielder can go on without sleep, and its victim loses the strength to even keep their eyes open. You never took more than you needed, so my slumber was always light enough to awaken from. But if the treasure was used without restraint... If we've had this realization, it won't be long until Leophine does, too. Then it will be too late. We have to root her out. But I mustn't rush ahead blindly, as Lozanikwe never tires of telling me. I feel nearly weak as a child right now. I must spend what precious time we have training to regain what strength Leophine stole from me. You have my word, I won't rest until I'm in top form again. I suggest that you do the same, if for no other reason than give me some stiff competition. Oh, I just thought the whole passing fatigue on was a figure of speech. I just assumed it did what... This is an epiphany? Maybe I'm just so used to magical artifacts working a certain way, my brain auto-translated to what it actually does. Anyway. Like, this is an epiphany? Of course it works like that. That's how most etheric objects work. How do you pass on fatigue? That doesn't even work. At least in this setting. You're looking strong, Cat Knight. Well, I'm not my old self yet. I'm feeling better by a day. Still, there's much work to be done. I need to be even better than I was before we have any hope of catching Leophine. I wonder what she's plotting with the rest of her cohorts. We know they aim to topple nations around the world, but this is an odd way to go about it, don't you think? Why haven't her misdeeds in Ishgard extended any farther than the Temple Knights? We pondered that same question. Our best guess was that as a former Temple Knight herself, she chose them because she knows how to exploit their weaknesses. She's using her knowledge as her weapon, and we need to equip ourselves likewise. If we can learn more about her, we might be able to anticipate her next move. A good plan, but I admit, I have no idea where to start. Should we ask for Malbert? I already have. He said that while he never knew her personally, the knights in her old squadron might be able to shed light on her past. Some of them even now patrol the city, and Malbert was a great help in telling me where they might be. You've been busy, Lozaniqui. Well, I can't remember the last time I was awake this long. I didn't want to sit around until I got tired again. We're all the better for it. Since you've gathered the information, it's only fitting I should do the legwork. Just tell me where these knights are, and I'll speak with them. Gladly, but Ishgard is still an unfamiliar city for the both of us, right? Although if Malbert told me where to go, the names of these places mean nothing to me. Luckily, we have Cat Knight to guide you. You'll go at Tintawa, won't you? Sure, why not? I got this. I knew we can count on you. Alright, take note of these locations. Being forced to work with someone like Leofine isn't a fate I would envy. I'm curious to hear what these knights have to say about her. Hopefully they provide insight that will help us guide us forward. Time is of the essence, Cat Knight. Let's get moving. Okay, escort quest again. The billionth time. Ever since Endwalker, they've used this a lot. I actually kind of like it better than the WoW version of escort quests. Upstairs. Okay. Now this is a rare privilege. What business could the savior of Ishgard have with a humble knight? You want to know about Leofine? Well, many temple knights come from common stock, but she was different. Despite what she became, Leofine was born of noble blood. Even so, she often made mock of Ishgard's customs and the responsibilities that bound the conduct of noble families. Doubtless she yearned for freedom all her life, or her idea of it anyways. Although her deeds caused her to be expelled from the Temple of Knights and similarly stripped of her title, she may have actually desired that outcome. She hated it so much, all she had to do was leave. I hear she did leave, for a time at least. Now she's in league with a group that aims to plunge the world into chaos. A selfish heart like Leofine was sought out to aid in this plot. I shudder to imagine how wicked their leader must be. Ah, that bunny girl. That bad, bad bun and needed some punishment. I really want to know what's going through her head. So I was... Okay. Wrong communist, right mentality. She's basically a spoiled rich girl that hated her noble upbringing and basically wants to tear down the system because, you know, it gives her a feeling of purpose and excitement. That just maintaining the system and conserving it just didn't give her because, you know, most incredibly selfish, egotistical, narcissistic people want a great and glorious heroic cause or something. Typical loser communist mentality. Got it. Do you require aid? I must keep watch, so forgive me if I don't engage in idle chit-chat. Leofine, for her I could spare a moment. I don't suppose you know why she was expelled from the Temple Knights, do you? While few were her equal in swordplay, and fewer still handled their mounts with such grace, she often spent her nights carousing in the gambling halls. It was after just such a night that she fell asleep while on duty. Some may call it a cruel twist of fate, but dragons attacked her charges as she slept, and they were left defenseless. In her negligence, she was deemed to have aided our ancestral foe, and thus was stripped of her knighthood and noble title both. Knights falling asleep on duty, a story that's become all too familiar. Given what happened, I've no doubt she came to fear sleep. Yet now she has conquered that weakness, and she wields it as a weapon against us. She may even believe herself to be on the reach of mortal danger. Yet she's only deluding herself. In time she'll be made to answer for her deeds. Yep, she likes excitement. And, again, she had no economic sense. Gambling addiction. Wow, okay. You know, I'm starting to think I wrote these role quests in my sleep. I'm starting to think Yoshi P owes me a check. Communists suck. Make tank role quest villain communist. Fuck commies. I've heard that the people of Ishgard revere a warrior god. But here is a statue of a flesh and blood knight. I've never seen such a thing. My people make no figures or depictions of our departed, fearing that such objects would keep them from finding their way to the next world. The only idol we keep is the cradle of the sleepless, and thanks to its blessing, a wide eye has always watched over us. So our reverence is devoted solely to the narwhal. It's enough that it guides our people safely to the next sunrise. Huh. Awakened, not stirred. Oh, that's funny. Haha, nice James Bond joke. All is quiet, even so I must remain vigilant. Leofine, a name spoken of in hushed whispers now, but many have forgotten her strategic genius. She had a singular talent for achieving victory in battle by whatever means necessary. Genius. Maybe we're just too dense to see our actions would cause Ishgard to collapse. Given that her group seems relatively few in number, an assault on Ishgard is unlikely. Rather, I think her aim is to chip away at the people's trust in Ishgard's foundation, and by the absence of a few vital bricks, bring the whole nation tumbling down. The thought gives me worry. Even now, representatives from Ishgard are preparing to visit Okezundu in the Sea of Clouds. If anything were to go wrong, it would be a grievous blow to Ishgard's reputation. As we saw at Falcon's Nest, certain elements that oppose our nation see friendly gestures as a chance to spark conflict. Given recent developments, Sir Handaloop has been debating whether the visit is a wise choice. Well, we have a general understanding of what drives our adversaries, stories that will paint a picture of a rotten, conniving soul. We know enough to guess her next move. You're right, whatever her ultimate goal may be, it's clear she has almost blinding focus on shaming the Temple Knights. And this, what do you call it, a delegation, may provide an irresistible opportunity. Finally, we have knowledge to use against our enemy. If we all work together, we might be able to trap her. We haven't much time. Let's return to the congregation and tell this Handaloop what we know. Okay. So, I was wrong about the Vice. So I suppose a teen-rated game, sleeping around would be M-rated. Now I think about it. Though if this was real life, it wouldn't be necessarily be gambling addiction, she'd just be a whore. But it's a teen-rated game. What's like being a whore? What's like being a whore, basically risky, but, you know, not actually sexual? Gambling addiction. Yeah. Economic risk, not biological. Okay, makes sense. You are ever welcome at the congregation, Cat Knight. I am well apprised of Leofine's wicked deeds, and your efforts to flush her out have been much appreciated. And this must be Master Tentawa, who crossed the ocean for Toral. I hope you recovered from your ordeal. I'm better than ever. Apologies for taking up one of your beds for so long. Please, no apologies are necessary. On the contrary, the Temple Knights yet owe you a debt for all you have done. Which brings us to the purpose of this visit. You had something to discuss with me? I see you and I had the same doubts. The delegation to Okezundu would be an obvious target for Leothine. I was but recently debating the wisdom of moving forward with our plans. As you know, all of Ishgard falls under the protection of the Temple Knights. As such, 'tis only meet that we maintain and strengthen friendly relations with our neighbors. Tongue-tied. The delegation in question is tasked with deepening mutual understanding of each of our unique cultures. Sonu Vanu, chief of the Zundu, was most eager to host. Yet so long as the specter of Leothane hangs over our order, I fear visits abroad are unwise. Should any of the Vanu come to harm, our relations could be damaged irreparably. As we have no way of knowing if Leothane has caught wind of our plans, I am of the mind that postponing the delegation may be the most prudent course of action. For the safety of all. This could also be the perfect chance to draw her out. That's right, Katnight and I won't let anyone come to harm. And as long as you warn the Vanu in advance, they shouldn't hold the actions of a rogue against you. They're truly your allies, they'll see the wisdom in your judgment. Please, send the delegation as planned. It'll be our best chance to capture Leothane. Yes, your words have merit. Thank you for the sage counsel. You are right, the Zundu would not stand idly by while we suffer at Leothane's hand. In fact, the fellowship between our two peoples was forged when a god assailed their home and was brought low by a great hero, Katnight. We tell the Zundu that she is keeping watch over the proceedings, and I am certain all doubts shall be quelled. Then you'll proceed. Indeed, the time has come for we Temple Knights to reclaim our honor and go on the counter-offensive. I shall bring the suggestion of a joint operation against Leothane to the Lord Commander as soon as possible. Thank you. Together we'll put a stop to her scheme. I first must discuss matters with the others involved before we present the plan to the Lord Commander. Although time is of the essence, I ask that you wait a while until our course is settled. Yeah. I think I pronounced that right. Whatever, I wasn't paying attention. And the delegation's the level 100 quest. Good! This is a fitting finale. I see. She's trying to cause an international incident. I realize now that I agreed to defend a people I know next to nothing about. Tell me of these Zundu we'll soon be visiting. They're like the Hanu, with even more of a penchant for metaphor. Really, two groups of such people so far apart, the world really is full of surprises. Even a single city is enough for a lifetime. Every day I hear something that gives me food for thought. Like the story of the Dragon Song War, for instance. Generations of animosity between dragon and man that somehow ended in a rekindled fellowship. I imagined a whole world like that, a world where there'd be no need for protectors. The Wide-Eye watches not only the monsters in the wilderness, but our neighbors as well. We barely even considered sending delegations outside our village's gates. And the cold snap only made things worse. With everyone struggling just to survive, our every thought goes towards defending our scarce resources. But if we only look outward with wariness, there's no hope for the future to change, no hope to build trust. Only there was a way to bridge the distance between us and greet tomorrow hand in hand. But maybe that's just a silly dream. Maybe. Either way, it's a beautiful thought. I'm glad you think so. I'll hold that future in mind as I get back to training. As for you, Cat Knight, get some rest. If you fall asleep when I need you most, I'll wake you up with a knock to the head. Time for the grand finale. Dreams of a new day. Okay, okay. Sir Handaloop still hasn't sent word. I guess others might not be so enthusiastic about our plan. To them, the cradle of the sleepless is naturally still something to be feared. No matter how much faith they have in your strength, you'd be at Leofine's mercy as she put you to sleep. Honestly, I don't blame them. Not even I imagine our treasure could be used for such evil. In Leofine's hands, it's no more than an indiscriminate weapon. But that means when we get it back, we can turn it into something else. Something no one's ever thought of before. We could find a way to use it without forcing someone to spend their life in slumber. Of course I agree with you, Tintawa, but we have more pressing matters, namely a rogue knight to capture and a treasure to recover. Yeah, right, sorry I got ahead of myself. Apologies for keeping you waiting for so long. The Temple Knights have finally reached a decision concerning the delegation to the Sea of Clouds. And what have you decided? I am pleased to say that the Zundu have agreed to join forces with us. Together we shall drive back Leofine should she attack. Her shadow darkens even in Ilm of their homeland. Our peaceful delegation shall turn into a fighting force at a moment's notice. We shall restore the Temple Knight's reputation and recover your artifact in one fell swoop. Thank you, Hanaloop. We promise to do our part if Leofine shows herself. She won't get away this time. We have but to hammer out the finer details. Once we are ready to depart, the first group of knights shall leave by airship. I should ask you both to make your way to OK Zundu as soon as possible so you may help plan our strategy. I'm coming too. I can heal your wounds, and if it comes to it, my staff can bruise as well as a club. I'll gladly have you with us. I'm done taking on the world alone. I need you, Lowe's Iniquity, and Cat Knight too. We're stronger together than we could ever be apart. You almost had the romance there until you included me, and now I feel like a third wheel. The cradle never would have been stolen if I'd realized that from the beginning. And you'd be getting laid after this way quicker if you just left me out of it. I want you by my side to ensure I don't forget it. Well then, we'd better be off. I'm keen to meet this Chief Zonu Manu. I've never understood why some guys do this. Maybe it's the autism, but I'm just like, why obfuscate your passions by making it seem like business? Like, no. No. I wouldn't even be mad in that situation if I wasn't referenced at all. That's like the one situation where it makes sense. Only a narcissist would be going, what am I, chopped liver? What about me? Like, no. Actually, that's a personal thing between those two. But no, you have to make it seem professional. It's a professional working relationship, says the man with the boner. Honored Netherling, your return to OK Zundu is as welcome as the arrival of spring. Sonu knows why you come. Wicked hearts seek to bring chaos to our home. And so the Zundu shall rise to its defense if needed. As the sun's rays chase away the shadows of night, the sun-drop dance shall keep the tendrils of sleep at bay. Chief Zonu Manu, it's an honor to meet you. I'm Tim Toa, and if this sun-drop dance is as invigorating as you say, I'd love to see it for myself. The Zundu shall dance before Ishgard's warriors upon their arrival. Brave Tintawa is welcome to join the proceedings. That was your original intent, right? I see we're to draw Leofine out. It makes sense to pretend like nothing is amiss. Zundu warriors unify their strength through the sun-drop dance, and the sight is so fearsome that many choose to flee rather than fight. Netherling warriors may learn much from such an approach. Breaking the enemy's spirit avoids needless bloodshed. Yet all dancers must hone their skills before wild animals fuss. That the sun drop dance does not fail them at the most crucial moment. It is for that reason our dancers await at the outskirts of Okezundu for the Netherlings' arrival. When the performance begins, it shall draw the attention of all like a roiling cloud coming over the horizon. Watch carefully for any who would take advantage of that moment. After the dance is finished, Netherlings will present the Zundu with Chief Sonu. Netherling ship appears in the skies like sun shower, hurtling toward Earth. Swiftly it descends, crashing down near Zundu dancers. Ship's markings are Ishgarian. Zundu are unhurt, but wounded Netherlings pour from vessel. Like a lightning bolt in the night, Leofine strikes. The Temple Knights were coming by airship, right? All Leofine had to do was lull the pilot to sleep. She saw right through us, and now we're on the back foot. Great winds can alter even a raging river's course. What matters is to stand strong and move forward. Now we must offer aid to the Netherlings who come as guests. Right, let's go. Okay, time for battle. This is the work of the cradle. Leofine can't be far. We must tend to the wounded, but I won't let her escape again. This ends today, one way or the other. There you are, Leofine. You came all this way just to greet me. Oh, I am honored. I only hope my gift was satisfactory. 'Tis a shame you will not see Ishgard crumble. Alas, I can scarcely suffer rats to scurry about my feet, threatening to gnaw away at my carefully laid plans. At least you bear witness to the dying breath of the Temple Knight's flagging honor. We would sooner see that wrecked airship soar again than their reputation return to its former glory. Yet even I did not foresee that the Zundu would be in the ship's path. The fury favors me, for now who would now trust a nation so careless as to put their neighbors at risk? Everyone knows you're behind this. People won't turn on each other so easily. Oh, I didn't see you there. The shut-eye, wide awake. Doubly honored am I that you came all this way just to meet your end. And now, if we're taking the cradle back, we won't let your evil continue any longer. Such bold words. If I recall correctly, your people reap great benefits from this artifact's powers. All at the cost of someone's waking life. Your life. Pray do not misunderstand me. That was not meant to be a denouncement of your people. On the contrary, they have my utmost respect. We are bound by our very nature. No matter how mighty we become, we are slaves to the whims of sleep. Yet this artifact can sunder those shackles and grant true freedom. It makes its wielder stronger and their enemies weak. A perfect weapon, if you ask me. I can't say whether using the cradle is right or wrong. I only know that a life lived at the cost of another is no life at all. You're right about one thing. We are bound by our nature. But that doesn't shackle us. It brings us together. And whether I'm asleep or awake, as long as Los Iniqui's by my side, that's the life I want. We'll take the cradle back, together! Oh yeah! She's exhausted the Kratos' power on the Hippo Knights. This is our chance. No plan is without its wrinkles, I suppose. Fortunately, I prepare for all contingencies. Minions! Unbound, Leophine the Unchivalrous. You had an opportunity to live a quiet life, but I will not give it again. This time I shall send you into a slumber from which you will never wake. Ah, I see. She's trying to transcend her biology. Transhumanism. So we have a transhuman commie. Okay. A transhuman commie with ads. I love how on the nose these quests are. And yet there are people. Not even people who are sympathetic to their bullshit. Just people in general, normies, who would go, no, there aren't people like this in real life. There aren't people that delusional that they want to transcend their biology and become unbound and godlike. That's a sci-fi fantasy plot line. No one could be that unhinged. Like, no, that's a conspiracy theory. Though I find it funny that the limitation she wants to overcome is sleep. There are days the limitation I want to overcome is being awake. Ugh. Naps are fun. Whoa! The sun drop dance actually wakes these people up. Everyone's awake! Mighty Zundu, protect Netherling warriors. Keep cautious like Gallicat under stormy skies. Now you're all alone. Oh, now you're all alone. This ends now, Leophine. Why am I cursed with incompetence? Very well, dance with me, wide-eye. Why are you cursed with incompetence? Like attracts like. Oh yeah. Smash! Puny Ninja! The artifact isn't such for such callous hands. Yeah, I don't think she's listening. Oh, crap. Okay. Oh, crap. I'm on the wrong side! Motherfucking AI. Etheric Burst. Holy crap! Warrior is amazing! Oh, phase 2. The artifact swells with power. It begs to be released. Now you shut your eyes for the final time. Take your last glimpse of the waking world. Brace yourself against the power of the artifact. I'm using Rampart. Oh, take cover behind Tintawa? Yeah. None can resist my power. I'm alright. What about Tintawa? He's asleep. You think this piece of wood is for protection? Such a cloying sentiment. Cursed insects! You lot! Finish them off! Earn your freedom! Sundrop Dance shall rouse Nethering Warrior. Protect Sleeper until he awakens. It's time for us protecting Tower. We'll get through this together. Oh. I'll take that. Dagger flight, huh? Fucking ninja. Okay. Time to pick him up. Trying to kill him while defenseless, huh? You know, doing this role quest as a warrior feels like cheating. I'm cheating. This doesn't even feel hard. On your feet, Tintawa. Your duty is the wide eye. Okay. Dundu, go help allies. May Zephyr winds guide you to victory. No. Sleep is inexorable. How are they doing this? Cope. I am far from finished. You will not withstand this. Fool. Sleep now for good. That's my line, bitch. Damnation. I will be bound no more! Everyone is bound by nature, bitch! Fool. You think you can be perpetually woke forever? It doesn't work like that! Even the staunchest commie will be red-pilled in the end! Smash, puny ninja! Fury, take you! Uh-huh. Take that, bitch! About to knock your ass out. Ugh, you stubborn. You may have won today, but this is not over. Yes, it is. Okay. Oh no, we got sleeped. Damned fool. Now! No! Oh! And is he about to get our strength because it passed into his hands? Say goodnight, Leophine. Oh! Oh, come on! I wanted her to die. That would have been funny. The wide eye watches internal, and the eternal is the sleep it bestows. We finally stopped her. Yes, but we have someone else to worry about. Catnap, good. Cat Knight, wake up. Are you alright? Only she would smile like at a time like this. She's awake. What silly little label would they give this chick? Transrester? Trans-sleeper? I'm trying to think what the left would even call that. Like, I'm trans-sleep. I never go to sleep. I'm just like Adolf Hitler. I'm on meth all the time. I'm never sleeping again. I'm trans-sleep. Your work is done, Cat Knight. You did a commendable job as our shield, and now you can lay down your burden. It was thanks to your bravery that I was able to deal the final blow to Leophine. With the cradle back in our possession, I think we can consider this expedition across the seas to be a success. The Zundu helped us gather the wounded and see them safely off the Ishgard. We couldn't have done it without you. Netherlings protect allies as fiercely as Gallicat protecting kittens. Zundu are moved by your might. You were equally as impressive. I should learn the Sun Drop dance myself, though I won't strike a figure half as fierce as yours. The Zundum seem to have everything well in hand, and Handaloop is likely eager to see us. We should return to Ishgard as soon as we can. Okay. Time to head back to Ishgard. Ah, the heroes of the day have returned. Thanks to your valor, the threat Leofine posed is no more. What's more, not a single life was lost. On behalf of the Temple Knights, allow me to express my utmost gratitude to you all. You don't owe me any thanks. After all, it was my fault that the cradle was stolen in the first place, and ultimately my fault that your delegation to Okezundu turned into a melee. It may be true that our visit to the Sea of Clouds was far from peaceful. The bond between the Zundu and the Temple Knights has only deepened through overcoming mutual adversity. Blessings often take inscrutable forms. And while we know not whether Leofine yet lives, we do know that she can no longer reach the source of her ill-gotten power. So we have little more to fear from her. The crisis behind us, the common folk no longer have aught to fear. We will make known the story of Leofine's schemes and the heroes who work to foil them. And in time, I hope that trust in our order will be restored. The Temple Knights shall continue to build relations with our neighbors for years to come. Relations which shall form the foundation for Ishgard's future. We will be honored if we can count you among our allies in this endeavor. Anything you need, simply call upon us. We'll be there. No questions asked. And with that, it's time we return home. It's been an honor. We'll be passing through Tuliolo on our way back, Cat Knight. If you have business in those parts, we'd love to speak with you at Zabala Tai before setting off. See you soon, hopefully. Cat Knight, there you are. I was afraid we wouldn't see you before we left. We arrived not long ago, and apprised Brook of Ooh of everything that happened. This is the longest I've spent away from our village, but even though Tuliolo and Ishgard were like entirely different worlds to me, I was only ever treated with kindness. Is anything the matter, Tintawa? Nothing, it's just something I've been thinking about. Our peoples have always been self-sufficient, but the Ishgardians and the Zundu showed that looking to your neighbor can reveal a way through the harshest difficulties. And you heard, Hanaloo, the bond between Ishgard and Okezundu was only made deeper through their shared ordeal. To trust another to such a degree. Well, I think it's a goal we should all strive toward. We have at least one friend like that, don't we? She who bent her ears to every note of the narwhal's lullaby without a shade of fear in her eyes. Thank you, Cat Knight. For believing in us, for believing that no matter the outcome, your actions would not be in vain. In so doing, you taught me the worth of fighting alongside allies you can trust. Even if your shield breaks, that is not the end. You're right, it's our faith in our allies, and their faith in us. It gives us the courage to protect each other. But approaching someone with open arms doesn't mean they'll accept you. Relations between our people and our neighbors have been strained by generations of mistrust. But we must take care to mend them properly. If we can do that, and learn to look towards the future hand in hand, there will be no need to use the cradle ever again. People can sleep and dream untroubled, and awaken with bright eyes. I want to see those days come to pass. Me too. Then you and I can finally spend more time together. Right, of course. If we're going to see this future, then we should get back to our village. They'll be overjoyed to see the cradle return. Thank you for everything, Cat Knight. Next time we meet, may we both have good news to share. No sleep till Tuliobel. Okay. No sleep. Sleep weakness. Oh wow. Someone likes carrot cake and bunnies. Fair. Carrot cake's delicious. Well, that's all for this stream of Dawntrail. If you like what you've seen, please give me a follow if you haven't already. And, well, hopefully I'll see you when I think the next role quest I'm going to go for is Healer. I'm going to level Astrologian a bit more. And I'll see you then. And even though I should be probably going to bed about now, considering, you know, I was up all night, learning from the moral of the quest gets in the way of my gaming, so I'm going to keep going. Keep leveling Healer. Sleep is weakness. That's what I've learned from Leo Fiend. Sleep is weakness. Must heal all. Anyway, this has been Cat Knight Alexander. See you later. Bye-bye. I'm just going to raid someone real quick. Sleep is forbidden. Sleep is weakness. Weak! I'll just raid the, this cat girl VTuber. There we go. Out the raid. Raiding now. And ending the stream.